pounds all the way down to 235 pounds, and the weight's going off even faster. Super Male Vitality, Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine, and Oxy Powder. Those three products of the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products are the most important from my own personal experience. And it wasn't just that my weight loss accelerated. My muscle mass increased. My stamina, my energy levels exploded. Now is the time to take action. Start your journey today with the Alex Challenge Pack. It's the trifecta of change. Secure yours today and get free shipping for a limited time at InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. The knowledge of the ancients, tried and true, trusted herbs and extracts fused with the latest nutraceutical science. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. For a limited time, get 25% off on this introductory offer. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. ancientdefense.com.
All right, sir, can you tell me what your name is, where you're from, and what brought you out here today?
Sure. My name's Daniel Duclos. I'm from Bastrop, Texas. I went to school in Austin, and I'm a concerned American, Texan, Bastropian. I just think the government should be held accountable to the decisions they make, and I think it's our privilege and it's our duty as Americans to ask questions about what our government's doing. These are elected officials, or our judge is, not the guy with the army, but you know, I think it's our duty to hold them accountable. So.
Okay, we're here with Kathy Glass. You ran for governor this past election, and I was very surprised to see you come out here for this Jade Helm. Why is it so significant to you?
Well, my husband and I have a small ranch in McDade, so we live half a life in Houston and half life out here in Lee County, actually. So what's happening in Bastrop is very important to us, but it's important to all Texans. This is not just a local thing going on.
You're going to talk about
Talking about the drill.
Jade Helm, stop. We're still doing ground rules, correct?
Yeah, I'm still going to.
Okay, all right. Jade Helm and Bastrop.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Anything else?
How many questions are you going to ask?
Do you ask everybody how many questions you're going to ask? She asked you several, sir.
I'm asking you, how many questions do you plan on asking?
Let's say I'll stop at 5 max. 5 max. 3?
3.
What?
Let's go 3.
All right. First, have you say and spell your name and position.
Lieutenant Colonel Mark Lastoria, Director of Public Affairs, United States Army Special Operations Command.
All right, Colonel, you spend a lot of time answering questions, so I'm trying not to be redundant, but just in the most general soundbite sense, what is Jade Helm?
Jade Helm is a training exercise to produce top quality U.S. Army Special Operations Forces for operations overseas, future operations overseas.
Okay. And you had a lot of concern here today. Is it fair to say?
There were a lot of questions asked here today, and I was really supportive of that. I think local governance is a fantastic thing, and much like the judge said, it'd be great if everybody came out in force like that to all of their meetings. Local governance is where things happen.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't really question. It's more of a statement, but I'll try to be concise as possible. I just had a question about Metris Global and Thomas Mead, I believe, are involved with this operation.
I'm sorry, who?
Metris Global and Thomas Mead.
I'm not familiar with. What was the first thing again?
Metris Global?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Thomas Mead?
Thomas Mead, he is a coordinator for the exercise.
All right, I'm here with Gigi Arnetta, former InfoWars reporter. You were here, you asked a question. What do you think about this Jade Helm operation and also their response to it?
Well, overall, I think I'm mostly disappointed in the way that they let the public know. I found out about it from a Bastrop County paper on the internet, and it was coming out at the same time it came out on InfoWars. It's like they're saying one thing and then they're saying another thing at the same time out of both sides of their mouth, so it's confusing.
Yes.
When you're talking about putting people in civilian clothing, I just do not understand what that matters, since this is supposed to be about foreign territory.
I was just concerned with the increasing indications that the military is getting a little too involved with local law enforcement. First of all, we got this military assault vehicle that assigned to our sheriff's department, and then we have all these strange things happening coming in here like this military operation, which is not new for our county because we have Camp Swift and I have helicopters flying over my property all the time. I don't have any problem with that. The thing that the indications that are happening that they're getting so involved that it does appear there is some martial law intent.
You know, I think one concern of mine is, well, first of all, I grew up here. I know Camp Swift is a big military base, so I am used to seeing people in uniform, and I have utmost respect for people in uniform and their sacrifice. I think what concerns me the most is I'm a student of history, and I know that that governments go tyrannical, and I know that also our government through the Homeland Security has labeled people like the kinds of people that live in Bastrop that are conservative, gun owners, libertarians, veterans. The government's labeled those people as potential terrorists, and so I do see an odd correlation between a huge military buildup and a hostile designation for the state of Texas in this area. I mean, it's not happening up in Washington, D.C.
Now, with what you heard today, do you think there should be any type of recourse for the public to have their voices heard as far as canceling the drill? If enough public outcry came about, do you think they should cancel the drill?
Certainly, I think so. The problem I have with today's get-together is it was one-sided, okay? We were allowed to ask questions. We were not allowed, except spontaneously, to express our dissatisfaction. And I think it's an obligation on the people making the presentation and the County Commissioners Court to understand why the people feel the way they do and why it appears, whether it is or not, it appears to be the implementation of martial law.
Of course they should, and there will be another county commissioners meeting, and if this can be put on the agenda, then they can force another vote. Maybe it'll be the same way, but I think at least one of the commissioners would have to put it on the agenda, and then it can be voted on after the information has come forward. That's the way it should be.
That's the whole point, isn't it? Aren't we supposed to be able to vote? We weren't even told. People here in this county weren't told. I didn't even know that it was already voted on. I was coming up the stairs and someone had said that, and I was so shocked. I'm like, what do you mean? People are just finding out about it. So, yeah, this is seriously messed up.
You know, we're a democracy, but we're a democratic republic, so we hire representatives to listen to the majority, but also protect the rights of the minority. So, if no one's rights are being violated, then people have the right to do what they want to do, and the military has the right to practice drills. But at the same time, I'm not quite sure that our rights are being protected. So I think it's the job of our elected officials to protect our rights.
The only thing I would say is this is taking place on private land, and I understand that people may have concerns, but that private landowner has their rights as well too, and they not only in their word but also in their deed support the U.S. Army and Army Special Operations Command, and we're thankful for that.
And I believe you said most of it's going to be on private land, or did you say all of it's going to be on private land?
For Bastrop County, it's all on private land.
There's a reason that people have problems with this, and it's not irrational fears, it's well-founded fears. And if you're talking about this new warfare, this asymmetrical warfare, well, these gentlemen that came need to learn that what you need in those situations is the backing of the populace. They need to buy into that. They need to support you. And if there's one thing that this training exercise should have told them right now, one thing they should have already learned, is that they do not have the backing of the people for this exercise. They blew it. They blew an opportunity. They came in as though they were occupying force and were just being kind to answer our questions. No, they should have been courting us and answering us. And maybe there would have been a different outcome for this meeting if they'd come in with a different attitude.
Joining us tonight are Joe Biggs and Jakari Jackson. They were at the Jade Helm meeting in Bastrop. Of course, this is a meeting that was held because so many people have contacted local government. They're concerned about it. They brought a colonel down to give a PR show, and I would say that's what it is. It looked pretty much just like propaganda, like a psyop. What's your impression of it?
Well, I pretty much agree with that statement. What this was, they made it very clear from the beginning, the commissioner, he said at the outset, this is not a meeting to set policy. We're just here to hear the concerns of the public, which they did hear. They heard the concerns of the public. But
they could care less.
Yeah, and then I'm sure they'll throw them in a drawer and not really do anything. Yeah. And one of the ladies at the end, towards the end of the discussion, she asked the question, since you see so many people who are against this, or at least not necessarily for it, they may be kind of on the fence, can we, postpone it or just cancel it all together? To which the commissioner replied that, we decided that he, as the commissioner, that it was fine and he really had no plans to change that. So it seems that their elected officials out there in Bastrop are not doing what's in the preferred interest of the people out there. Yeah. Because as they kept trying to reiterate during the meeting, they're using mostly private lands that they're not paying for.
That was something that I heard that I thought was amazing. Of course, I haven't seen most of what happened because we were just checking in with you at random on the radio program today as it was live. But at one point where they brought this on, the colonel said, these are people who have private property who came to us and asked us to do this. And it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, that's the most outrageous, ridiculous, bald-faced lie I've ever heard. Nobody called up the special forces and said, I'd like to have a training exercise on my property. Who can I talk to arrange this?
It's kind of a word of mouth thing that eventually got around.
Word of mouth, yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy sitting beside me in the little pew or whatever you want to call it. And he said, as soon as the Lieutenant Colonel Mark Lastory, I believe was his name, as soon as he said that, he leaned over to me and he goes, that's complete and total BS.
Yes.
And I said, well, how do you know that? He goes, well, I actually own property that corners a property that has, I think it's like 20 acres, something like that, I believe it was. And she was approached, the lady that lives next door to him, was approached by these Jade Elm architects, Thomas Mead, the Metrics Global.
Well, let's understand the way they do this, okay? They say they've been invited by the local governments as well. What do? They come in there with uniforms, anything, appeal to their patriotism and say, we want to hold this exercise here. We need it to train our troops. We need an invitation from you. And then they come back and they say, well, we were invited, as if the other people initiated it, which is not the case at all. Certainly not in this particular.
Well, they said that everyone's known about this for months on end, but why are people just now finding out about it? We brought it to the surface, and now people are just now hearing about it, and everyone in the entire meeting were like, why you said that this is, this has been public knowledge forever, but you've never promoted it in any way, and that's what's pissing off people.
It was hidden when we reported on it. Drudge put it up. He also linked to the scribed document, and then they tried to get a comment from the military, and the military said, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it. I can't look at that. I can't go to that site. Well, can't go to that site because they shut it down, but he could have gone to scribed and looked at it at scribed, but of course he didn't. So first their technique was to say, well, it's not an issue. It doesn't exist. And then they want to come back and say, we've been doing this all along. That's not true.
Well, they said they denied. Remember at the beginning, they denied the slides. Like, we don't know where these slides come from. Exactly. And then today they read off of the slides, the exact same slides that we originally posted. That's all the briefing was 20 minutes of this lieutenant colonel reading verbatim these slides. He left off the suspicious activity in the other parts, but
I think a hostile territory was the phrase not used.
Yeah, he never said. He said the two targeted areas or something like that. It was really weird.
So when you look at their map, you're either hostile or you're permissive. And I think that's basically the way the federal government views all of us here in America. And then, you're either permissive and you bend over and let them do whatever they want to do, or you are hostile and you need to be taken out. But that's the amazing thing. People were asking them questions about the slides, and he pretended like they didn't exist, like he'd never seen them. And of course, then today he reads off.
Well, there was a question that I asked, and if you want, we should take a look at this clip.
Let's take a look at that.
Next question from the floor.
I'm Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, U.S. Army, retired, Infowars.com, and I have a question. You said your training will be to blend in for overseas combat missions. So I'm kind of curious how these special operations guys who look like us, look like him, are going to be practicing blending in when we all look the same. Don't they need to train in an area overseas for the combat they're going to go to? Because that, quite frankly, doesn't make sense to me from my time in the military, because you guys have Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia, the Asymmetric Warfare Center, that has a school, a soccer field, a subway station, a bank, all that, and you're training on these environments which look like here. That's why people are concerned.
Excellent question. Go ahead.
So with that, realistic military training occurs off of the federal installation in the local area. That's what we're doing. As far as blending in, you take a guy from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I dress differently than people dress here. It's regional. It's one of the. It does.
I've been at Fort Bragg. I was there for 7 years.
You may not like the answer, but that is
flag.
That is how it is. And you may have been at Fort Bragg, and people dress differently in and around the 10 surrounding counties, and you've seen it. In the 10 surrounding counties,